Okay class, so today is week number 3 and lecture number 18. The topic is bearings. We had discussed in last class what are the properties of bearings, application of bearings and the rules to find the bearings, right? Today we are going to start with question number 6 of same exercise 9b, right? It says A, B, C and D are four corners of a rectangular plot marked out on level ground. Given that the bearing of B from A is 40 degree. Now keep in mind we cannot make such type of rectangle because in this case the angle of B from A is 90 degree. So we cannot plot a rectangle like this. It says the bearing of B from A is 40 degree. Now let me ask you a question. If we make a quadrant north, south, west and east, right? 40 degree lies in which quadrant? This one, this one, this one or this one? Obviously it will lies in this one, 40 degree, like this, right? After that it says and that the bearing of C from A is 90 degree. Now you can see that in both bearings the starting digit is 0 because we know the rules that there must be 3 digits to represent bearings. Find the bearing of B from C. So first step, or you can say the complicated step, is to plot that rectangle. So first thing I am going to make the north of A. Now that point is A, right? It says the bearing of B from A is 40 degree. That means B lies like here, maybe, right? B lies here. We know the bearing of B from A is 40, right? That means this angle known 40 degree and that is the north of A. After that the bearing of C from A is 90, right? The bearing of C from A is 90. So C point must be lie on the straight line of C, right? So I am going to extend this line and let's say that this point is C, right? You have the angle of 90 degree. So that is my 3 points A, B, C. Now for the D points we know that it is a rectangle. Opposite sides are equal and parallel. So I am going to plot the roughly sketch here. So like this it's my rectangular plot, right? That is point D and we know that these two lengths are equal and these two lengths are equal. First part you need to find the bearing of B from C. B from C. First step, the word after the letter from is C. Right now we don't have the north of C, so we need to first plot the north of C. So that is the north of C, right? And to that north with the line where B and C connects each other we make an angle and that angle is basically our bearing that we are looking to find. Now how we are going to find it? That is important question. Now we know that since it is a rectangle then all angles are 90 degree inside this rectangle, right? Okay. Now if I am going to make a line at B, or you can say that if I highlight the north of B, now the question arises why should we need to highlight the north of B? So the answer is I am going to use this 40 degree angle. So that's why I need to make a Z. Now you can see that this line where my hand is basically the Z, right? So you can apply the concept of alternate angles. If this angle is 40, it means that this angle is also 40, right? Now this total red angle marked is 90, and in this 90 angle this part is 40 degree. We can find the remaining part. So it will be 90 minus 40, that is equals to 50. Means that this part here is 50 degree, right? Again with the concept of parallel lines, now we need to identify another Z, and that Z is lies here, right? You can see it is a Z. Now if we made a Z, that means that this angle is also 50 degree. Now we can identify the bearing easily. We had discussed such type of question in last class. From north of C, if we came back again to the north of C, that means we covered an angle of 360 degree. But we don't need this 50 part, so we need to subtract it. So part A, which says B from C, it will be 360 minus 50 degree, that is equals to 310 degrees. That is the answer of first part, right? Now after that it says A from C. Now A from C, I am going to attempt it with blue pen. So first I am going to highlight the angle. From the north of C, you need to reach the line A, this one, right? So it will be, if I make some random lines. Now let's see, from the north to this line we covered 90, again 90, that means this angle is 180. So you need to add 90 more to reach this line. So for part B, A from C, it's 180 plus 90, that is 270 degree, right? For the last part, D from C. Now I am going to rub a little bit so that you can understand better. D from C, at first I am going to highlight the angle. D from C means from the north of C till the line that connects C and D, this angle, right? And I am going to call this angle, let's suppose P कर लेते हैं. Let's suppose this angle is P. Now how we are going to find this angle? Now look closely. This angle here, it's 50, right? And we know that this angle is 90. It means that I can find out the internal angle. That means this angle is 40 degree. This red angle is 90 degree. It means that 90 minus 40, this angle is 50 degree, right? Now you need to find this angle. The whole concept, if you are moving from the north of C till this line, you covered 270 degree. But we don't need this part, this 50 degree part. So we need to subtract it. Part C, D from C, it will be 270 and we don't need 50 degrees, so it will be 220 degree. That is the answer. So these are the tricky questions of the topic bearings, but in exams such type of questions comes very rare, not very often, comes very rare, right? So what you guys need to learn from this question, that you have a better understanding how to sketch this diagram. Keep in mind, if you know how to sketch, that means you know how to find the unknown values. So the first step, the sketching part, is very important. Once you complete your sketching, then you know the principle, or you know the rules of bearings that you can easily apply, right? So how you will be good at sketching? There is only one answer: you need to practice more. The more questions you explore, the more idea you will gain how to sketch your figures correctly. So that is important. The more you practice, the more concepts will clear, right? So moving on to the next question, that is question number 7, right? So what you guys need to do first, you need to sketch the figure by yourself. See what idea you perceive from this question. The question says P, Q and R are 3 points on level ground. Given that the bearing of R from P is 135, that is one important condition. Now in your mind, now you have a clear idea where should be 135 degree lies, right? Angle PQR is 55 degree, angle PRQ is 48 degree. Find the bearing of P from R. So first thing, I am going to sketch the bearing P from R from P. But before that, you need to stop the video and try it by yourself. R from P. So I need to make the scale at P because it says R from P, so we should take the north of P. Now this point is P, right? This one, and that is the north of P. Now it says the bearing of R from P is 135. Now 135 leads to second quadrant here, right? So this point here is R, and the bearing is 135. That means this angle is 135. If you made the diagram correct till here, then it is very good. After that, it says PQR is 55 degree and PRQ is 48 degree. Now it will be good if you take D and then make this angle PQR and PRQ. So here I am going to sketch roughly. So it will be like this, PQR, and then from this line to this line, right? So this part you need to attempt by with the help of D, right? This angle PQR is 55 degrees and PRQ is 48 degrees. So that is your question. Now you need to find the bearing of P from R. So first part, P from R. After the word from we have R, that means first thing you need to make the north of R. So I made a north of R. It's a little bit tilt, but you need to make it straight. So that is north of R, and after that I am going to highlight the angle with the red pen, so it will be better understanding to find the unknown. From the north of R till the point P, this angle that we are exactly looking for, and let's call this angle theta, right? After that, if you observe here, since we know that it is a straight line, right, and the angle of a straight line is 180 degree, so that means I can find this angle. How? It is very easy, that you need to subtract 135 from 180, right? So it will be 45. That means this angle here is 45, right? After that 45 angle, what you guys need to do, you need to highlight the Z. Now if I am going to highlight the Z, so this line here is my Z, right? That means if this angle is 45, so this angle is also 45, and now we can easily find the bearing. How? We know that if we start from the north and move towards until we get back to north again, we cover the angle of 360 degree, right? And in this 360 degree I don't need this 45 part because I need to stop till here. So it will be 360 minus 45, it will be 315 degree, right? So that is your answer of first part, P from R. The second one, Q from R. Now I recommend you to try it by yourself first. Q from R. Now I am going to attempt this question with a green pen. First I need to highlight the angle that is unknown. So from the north of R till the point Q, so let me first extend the north of R, right? So from the north of R till the line Q, it means that this angle, let's say this angle is Y, right? Now how you can find this angle? Can you figure it out by yourself? No or yes? So I think that's a yes, you can figure it out. If this whole angle is 48 and the left part is 45, so what is the remaining angle? So it will be 48 minus 45 is equals to 3 degree. Since we are dealing with the bearing, so it will be 0, 0, 3 degrees. That is the answer, right? After part B, we need to part C. After that, the last part, P from Q. Now P from Q. Now the first step, like always, you need to highlight the unknown angle. P from Q. First thing, you need to plot the north of Q. So I made a scale on Q, right? That is the north of Q. From that north of Q, we start to make an angle till we reach the line P. So that is our angle, and let's call this angle X, right? So we need to find this angle. How we can find this angle? So again, I recommend you to first try it by yourself. If you can do it, it will be very good. Now, basically, I know that if I start from the north and I covers 180 degree till here, and then this angle, this smaller part is unknown. If I get this angle, then I simply add all these angles in 180 to reach this line, right? Let's suppose that you are on your car, start your car from the north, when you reach this point, now there is a barrier, right? You cannot pass it. So we need to find this barrier first. After that, we know that there is an angle of 55, but this barrier is unknown. For that barrier, you guys need to identify Z. Keep in mind, whenever you draw a north, it is always parallel, right? Now, the Z part is, I'm going to highlight with the green shade, this one. That is your Z, right? It means that if this angle is Y, this angle is also Y, and we have the value of Y, that is 3 degrees, so its angle is 3. Now we can easily find, start our car from the north till we reach south, covers a degree of 180, and then the barrier is basically 3 degree. And after that barrier, we know that this angle is 55. So what values we need to add? At first 180, after that 3, and after that 55, right? So in your calculator, when you add it, 180 plus 55 plus 3, it's 238 degrees. That is your answer. So like previously I said that whenever you have a question, you need to plot the diagram correctly, and once your diagram drawn correctly, then these all parts can be solved easily. The main portion is the diagram, and correct diagram you can draw the more you practice you done of the same topic, bearings, right? Now moving on to the next question. Question number 8. Now it says A, B and C are 3 points on level ground. Given that the bearing of B from A is 122, angle CAB is 32 and ABC is 86. Find the possible bearings of C from B. So first thing, if I write out the important things, B from A is 122 degree, right? Let's say it's condition A. Condition B, angle CAB is 32 degrees. Third one, angle ABC is equals to 86 degree, right? Now you need to plot the figure. First I am going to apply with condition A, B from A. That means we need to take the north of A, right? So that is the scale of A. Let this point is A. B from A means second quadrant, right? So from the point A till the point B, let's suppose this one, right? This is point B and the angle is 122. That means this angle here is 122. After that it says CAB is 32, means that C is somewhere a point CAB. So the angle A will be 32, right? And ABC is 86. Now there are two ways you can draw C point, whether it will be CAB or it will be CAB, right? So there are two possibilities and both are correct. So I am going to pick C here, C, right? And I say that C A and C to B. So that is my triangle. The value that is given in the question is CAB. So CAB it's 32 and ABC it's 86. Once the figure completes, now you need to find the bearing of, that's why it is mentioned in the question, find the possible bearings, because there are options more than one. That's why I said find the possible bearings. C from B. So first thing what you guys need to do, try it by yourself, right? Give it a try. Start it by making north at B. Identify where are the alternate angles, which line will be parallel, how you are going to applying the alternate angles, and all that scenario you need to apply first. So first thing, you need to make north at point B. So I made a north with the red pen, right? So that is my north of B. C from B, and I need to find C from B. That means this angle is unknown. Let's call this angle theta. So how we are going to find this angle, it is a little bit tricky, right? Now first thing, Now, what you guys need to do, I'm going to do a little help for you so that you can try again. You see that we need to find this angle only, and we have the total value of 86. It means that if somehow I find this angle and subtract this angle from 86, then it will give me the value of theta, right? Now the question is how I am going to find this angle. Well, so the answer is, I am going to write the answer, maybe you can guess it. So the answer lies in alternate angles. Alternate angles will help you to find this angle. And how? So first, for you, I am going to highlight the Z. Now that is my Z property going to apply, right? We can apply Z here because we know that all the north or all the scales are parallel to one another. So it means that if this angle is A, let's say, so this angle is also A. Now the second question, how we find the value of A? Now it's very simple. If we start from the north of A till the south of A, we covered an angle of 180, right? We covered an angle of 180 degree. But we also know the value from north till this point is 122. That means if we subtract 122 from 180, we got the value of A. It's 58, right? So now we have the value of A, that is 58 degree. It means that this A is also 58 degree. The total angle is 86 and that left side part is 58. So 86 subtracts 58, it will be 28. So you can say that bearing of C from B is 0 to 8 degree. Keep in mind that 0 is very important. If you forgot to apply 0 at the beginning, it will deduct your 1 mark. So 0 has an importance in this case, right? So you have noticed the pattern that whenever we have a word problem, diagram plays an important role to solve it, right? Once you made the diagram correctly, then you can solve the question easily. So make sure that all of you have learned all the working techniques for bearings, the rules that I have told you in last class, how we apply bearings, right? And most importantly, whenever you are attempting the bearing questions, identify the alternate angles. Once this Z property you will see in a question, Z can be drawn like this, Z can be drawn like this, Z can be drawn like this, and Z can be drawn like this, right? So whenever you have such figures in your question, keep in mind that you need to apply the concept of alternate angles. And the angles I am highlighting right now, they are alternate angles, they are equal angles. So trust me, if in a question you identify such shapes, right, so it will make your question very easy, right? So in your past papers, such type of questions, I told you earlier that such type of questions come very rarely. If I remember that from 2000 till 2018, from 2000 till 2018, there are no such questions involved which include such sketching. Many questions of the bearing have already sketch in the question, so you don't need to plot the sketch. And the questions like word problem of bearings have very simple sketching, not this one. Like if I tell you, it says the bearing of Q from P is 0.75. Find bearing of P from Q. Now this question, it is a past paper question. I don't exactly remember the year. I think it's 2006. I think, I'm not sure. So this type of questions comes in past papers. So at first, according to me, it is very easy question as compared to this one that we had just attempted. So according to me, this question is very easy. So can you give it a try? Try it by yourself, and I'm sure that mostly of you will draw the correct figure. I'm sure. So let me just draw its solution. It says bearing of Q from P. The first step, I need to make north of P. So let's say, sorry, let's say that I have drawn the north of P. This point is P. Now Q is 0.75, means it is in the first quadrant, right? So let's suppose that this angle is 0.75 and this point is Q. We need to find bearing of P from Q. Now the first thing that should come into your mind is that you need to plot the north of Q, right? So I'm going to plot the north at Q. So that is the north of Q, right? That is the north of Q. After that, you need to identify the Z. You know that these two lines are parallel, right? Now if you identify your Z, that means your question is completed now. Now this angle is 75. It means that this angle is also 75. Now the final step, the unknown bearing angle from the north till this line. What is the angle? Can you guess it now? What is your answer? If you guess 180 plus 75, then you are on the right path, right? How? Let's see. Starting with the north, if you drive the car till here, you covered 90 degree. Till here, you covered 180 degree. You need to reach this point, right? So you need to cover an extra 75 degree. So it will be 180 plus 75, that is equals to approximately, I guess, 225, but let me check. 180 plus 75 gives the value of 255. So that is the bearing of Q from P, right? So you can compare these two questions, the one from the past papers or one from the book, right? So from the book, it helps you to build the concept, right? So it is not mandatory that the difficulty level will be same. It depends on year or question, etc. So I hope that now you have a good idea how to attempt the word problem of bearings. In our next class, we are going to continue with the same topic but with more advanced level questions. So I recommend you to try the question of bearings as many as possible and try to sketch the figures. It will be very good if you have a good concept regarding the sketching, right? So see you next class. Take care and Allah Hafiz.